Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. Today we're talking about Black Panther 2 hitting another snag. Taika Waititi's a pirate, and the boy who lives is playing a guy who's weird. All this and everything else that happened this week in Geek.
Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Hello, I'm Jayla, but you can call me Justin. And if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for today's meaty-filled news episode are my two lovely co-hosts, Kevin Hudson, Nate Shelton. How are you, boys?
Boys, how are you now?
Doing well. It feels like everything happened in the last week in the Geekiverse. It feels like there's so much to go through.
Yep, some small, some big, and we'll be getting to that shortly. But before we do, we usually like to kick things off like we always do with our Whatcha for the week. So, guys, what you been up to? What you been enjoying? Who wants to share first?
So I was having a watch the other day, and I'll tell you, bud, I've been laying my peeps on a pert near perfect show. An absolute peach of a program, if you will. A bar-down celly of the kind of townsfolk you might find in any given rural Ontario homestead. It's like a wheel-snipe celly of everything that makes small-town Canada one of a kind. And I'll tell you, these folks are odd. We're talking Sweeney Odd. We're talking Odd McFarlane. We're talking Odd Squad starring Omar Epps. We're talking Suicide Odd. No, let's go with The Suicide Odd. Much better movie. So why do I like this show? It's because it might be better than toe curling. It might be better than throwing hip. It might be better than taking the old sled out for a rip. And it's definitely better than ripping schneef off the back of a urinal. It's because these boys are the absolute epitome of impossible, improbable intelligence. These orally obnoxious optimists can't be matched when it comes to their utterly unabashed uniqueness. And if you tell me you haven't checked it out, you're going to have to pump the brakes and sort yourself out. We might just have to go tarps off and throw hands in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. This show is definitely not just for the boys or D-gens either. Specifically, if you are a fan of Trailer Park Boys, I highly suggest you grab a bag of all-dress chips or a Sando and figure it out. Pitter-patter, let's get at her. If you guessed I'm talking about the Crave Original Series Letterkenny, that's a Texas size 10-4, good buddy.
It's like, what is this performance that's going on?
Yeah, I didn't realize that Whatcha was going to turn into like a poetry reading.
Word.
Should we snap?
Yeah, I was like, should I
Let's snap? Let's snap. Let's snap. That was great.
You,
Beautiful.
If you've seen this show, you would understand
I've watched
wordsmanship.
clips. Yeah.
The way this guy writes television is so unique, and just as somebody who loves writing and something, it's just I'm such a big fan of what Jared Kiso has done on this show, and I'm shocked that it took me this long in 10 seasons to finally tune in and check it out.
I thought you've already watched it.
No, I'd never seen it, but this is definitely my new favorite Canadian show by far.
Dope.
Really? Wow. Oh, even more so than Trailer Park Boys?
I mean, it might be just the recency bias, but I think it might actually be more clever in terms of the writing than Trailer Park Boys.
Wow. Jeez.
That's saying a lot.
That's saying a
Quite
lot.
literally. Quite literally. Nate, how about yourself? What you been up to, bro?
You know what? I have just been diving into back into the Righteous Gemstones, caught up on there, got to enjoy seeing where all those crazy characters are at. And that show just makes me laugh so much, even just to think about it. This week's episode, it's not a spoiler to say, but BJ got baptized. And just the ceremony they hold for this guy and the clothing choice that he makes is incredible. So I love it so much. And I've also been diving, oddly enough, into a video game that I said I would never get into, which is Fortnite. I've been playing Fortnite, and honestly, I hate that I like it. I hate that I like it so much.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the kind of game that I thought I would ever really get into, but I will say I'm never going to play it alone. It does only feel good to play when you've got a squad, when you've got a group of people. I'm going to try to jump back into Halo to see if I can offset some of this Fortnite stuff that's going on. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching. Besides that, of course, we've got our Ozark review out now, so you can definitely go check that out, see what we thought, because that's about the only other thing I've been watching.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. My week consisted of watching Ozark Season 4 for our review, but I also had a chance to watch Peacemaker, finally. I got into the first 3 episodes.
What'd you think?
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I love Cena. I think he's so great. His comedy, it works for his character. In episode 3, like the scene with the judo master when he's tied up is some great one-liners that he throws at him that are just absolutely hilarious. And I like the representation of, strong female characters, Jennifer Holland being one of them, and, Danielle Brooks, who's obviously going to be very, very integral as we go further down this series. I love the introduction of his father, like you guys mentioned last week. I think his character's, it's going to be interesting to see where things will land with him. But yeah, I'm like very interested. I'm invested. I feel like they've done enough in the first 3 episodes to actually make me interested in enough of these characters that I want to see more. Like, it doesn't feel like any are lacking at this point. It just feels like it is very much continuing that ensemble motif, which we talked about last week, that kind of branches from the Suicide Squad. So yeah, I'm excited. I think we should maybe when it's all said and done, we do a spoiler filled review recap discussion sort of thing.
100%. I mean, I will quickly say I would like to see Peacemaker be the Peacemaker that we saw in the Suicide Squad, because we haven't really gotten much of that yet. I haven't seen episode 4 yet, so maybe that's where that emerges. But I am hoping to see a bit of him be an actual threat like he was in the movie.
Sure. I think also too, though, a lot of that was for show. And I think what the first 3 episodes kind of demonstrate is that there's something else behind the character that we just didn't get a chance to explore in the Suicide Squad. And I think a lot of what he was, putting out there and personifying was built off of the image that he wants people to have. And I think what in these first 3 episodes that I've watched, because I haven't watched episode 4 as well, it seems as though he's trying to negotiate with what he's expecting and what people expect around of him, right? So he's balancing those 2 personas. And I think he's sort of trying to find himself in these, in this series. So it's interesting to see. I think they've set, James Gunn has done a really good job, at least in these first 3 episodes, to set up a bit of an internal conflict that we see in Peacemaker.
For sure. And I definitely like that he's not just a one-dimensional character who's all about kill, kill, kill. But let me see him, snipe some people and use anything around him as a weapon and whatnot, like that terrific scene at the camp in the movie itself.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I do think, though, that him killing Rick Flag fucked him up. So I will say that. That
broke him. I like that.
Yeah, that broke him. Yeah. 100%. So, but with our What You Out of the Way, nice little primer conversation there, I think we should get into all the juicy stuff that happened this week. Nate said it. It was a busy-ass week. And due to that, I am going to flip the script today. We're going to start with trailers. That's okay with you. So let's cue that banjo.
It's trailer time.
All right, our first trailer, Our Flags Mean Death, from HBO Max, coming out in 2022. The cast consists of Taika Waititi, Fred Armisen, Nat Faxon, I believe is how you say his name, Leslie Jones, Ewan Bremner, Rhys Darby, and the list goes on. I just decided to cut it there. There's quite a few people. And the synopsis reads as such. The year is 1717. Wealthy landowner Stede Bonnet has a midlife crisis and decides to blow up his cushy life to become a pirate. It does not go well. Based on a true story. What did you guys think of this comedy parody?
I mean, you put Nat Faxon in a Taika Waititi show about pirates, and I'm absolutely sold. That's all I needed to hear. I think Nat Faxon is one of the funniest guys out there, and he's so underutilized that I think he's just going to be able to do so much with the brilliance that is Taika Waititi's writing.
I mean, we've got freaking Rhys Darby leading this crew of pirates. It reminds me of The Office crossed with like What We Do in the Shadows mixed with Pirates of the Caribbean. And we get HBO level production quality on top of that. Are you kidding me? Like, where did this come from? I'm so stoked to see it. I'm also stoked to sort of see Taika, in my heart, redeem himself as a bad guy. Because in Free Guy, I know we kind of had some qualms with his character, his villain character in that movie. And so I think this is a better world. It might be a better fit for him tonally to finally jump in as the bad guy we all want. But honestly, I mentioned Righteous Gemstones at the top of the show. This seems like it's going to bring the laughs, and it feels like that. But I feel like we're also going to get those moments of seriousness and those are going to be the hooks. Those are going to be the things that have us say we need to get back to the series, not just to laugh, but also to see really what's going to happen to these characters.
I do feel like it's probably going to lean more on the parody, but I do think that it's going to be interesting to see how this cast is very much known for either just being who they are to a character that they portray that is very much them. So Taika Waititi as playing as Blackbeard, I feel like it's going to be very similar to how we saw him as Hitler in JoJo, right? Very much, Taika Waititi as Hitler. This is going to be Taika Waititi as Blackbeard.
Sure. I'm also stoked to see Kristen, is it Nairn? How are you pronounce his name? Hodor himself is in this show, along with
fellow Game of Thrones alumnus Joel Fry, who's got some serious comedy chops himself. So
but I think the other cool thing with characters like that and with actors like that, all these actors, they do have the ability to bring those moments of times where comedy, but also like drama. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. They're good. They have the ability. Especially with someone like Joel Fry, I think we saw some of his excellent acting in Cruella recently, and to see that sort of character style brought here, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where they can take this beyond just the laughs. But I do think, we're going to get a ton of laughs.
I don't know. I think you'll be disappointed if you're looking for anything more serious than What We Do in the Shadows. I think it'll be very much of that vein.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I don't think everything HBO does has to be loaded with drama and seriousness.
2022, HBO Max. We shall see. There's no official date unless you guys found one. I didn't.
No.
Nope.
Well, after this, everything is animated. So let's get into the animated trailers. The first one here, Cuphead. The Cuphead show, more specifically, from Netflix. Cast starring True Valentino as Cuphead, Frank Todaro as Mugman. Based on the award-winning video game, the Cuphead show follows the unique misadventures of lovable, impulsive scamp Cuphead and his cautious but easily swayed brother, Mugman. What do you guys think of this? It feels and looks like it'll be like a Disney parody with some really dark, twisted elements that might play a little bit more to adults and might just have a little bit more fun. I got like very much like the Ren and Stimpy vibes as well too in terms of the aesthetic. So I'm intrigued to see what is. I hope it's better than the game, because the game I just could not get past the first level. So
it's probably gonna be more accessible than the game in the sense that if you don't do anything, it'll keep going. Whereas with the game, you're at level 0 if that happens. The Moldenhauers, Chad and Jared, have created such an incredible world within Cuphead, and it's just fun to see these characters explored with more depth than just the non-speaking characters in the game. But I think the animation looks incredible. Simulated film degradation just looks so cool to give it that really vintage vibe. The ragtime music, right, is going to be so much fun. And obviously there's going to be musical elements to the show. That's a huge aspect of the game. But Wayne Brady as King Dice is perfect casting, and I'm so excited to kind of see where they take the show. It's obviously going to be super light. It's going to be I feel like if there is anything, any aspect to it beyond, again, speaking about beyond the comedy, I think they might sort of try to strike a balance of almost the sort of stuff you'd find in Adventure Time or Steven Universe in terms of storytelling. But I'm stoked for it. I'm really excited to see where they go with it. I do hope it's kind of like a one and done season for them. I don't think they need to do anything more than that. Just give us this nice little story while we wait for more DLC from the game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks great. I think I'm very intrigued by the world that they've captured in the preview, and the animation looks really, really good. So I'm excited to see that also not an official date, but 2022 is what I have here. So we'll have to wait and see. But on to our next animated piece of content. It's for The Boys Diabolical. This is actually like two trailers. There was like a announcement trailer with Carl Urban, who kind of lays the groundwork talking about what this is, and then there was an actual like preview which looked like a mini episode. The Boys Diabolical is Amazon Prime's animated anthology spin-off series, which drops March 4th. The anthology consists of 8 episodes and promises to tell deliciously unique and twisted stories cooked up by celebrity friends of producer Eric Kripke, Seth Rogen, and Evan Goldberg. And those famous friends also include Awkwafina, Justin Roiland, Andy Samberg, Aisha Tyler, and of course Goldberg and Rogen themselves, just to name a few. I'm kind of digging this idea of, doing an animatrix style, building out the world of something with animated. So it'll be interesting to see how each of the styles are going to be different, if that's the case, if they are. So
yeah, no, it definitely has that same sort of Disney-inspired aesthetic to it. I mean, if you had just described this to me without showing me anything, I'm not sure how interested or excited I would have been for it. But just that little 30-second clip we get, and you see just how crazy and zany they can get with this. And I think they're going to be able to do things in this show that just wouldn't work with the vibe of the live action show. And I think they'll be able to have a lot of fun with it. So seeing that clip, I went, okay, I get where they're going with this, and that really turned me around on my excitement for it.
Yeah, you said zany. I also think loony, very much Looney Tunes vibes, but they don't have to hold back with the violence. They don't have to hold back with the disturbing stuff. And I think in a way, you're right, Kevin, because it's animation, it almost affords them the ability to do even more crazy and disgusting things with this show that I don't know how in canon it's going to be, but I do like the idea, Justin, that you brought up of like it's sort of lightly will add to the world of The Boys here and there. I don't know if we'll see any crossover between this and the main series.
I don't think so. No. But it's supposed to build up the universe, right? Like, I think they're having liberties of telling stories within this universe, whether they get referred to or acknowledged, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure that we wouldn't see someone like Homelander fly through, do something, and fly off or something. Just to it'll be more that the live action works its way into the animated show rather than we'll see anything from the animated show in the live action sense.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I know this one comes out March 4th, 2022, so we don't have to wait too long for that.
Diabolical.
Yeah, June 3rd, 2022 is when The Boys come out, so it's well before. So it'll be a nice kind of primer, if you will, just to kind of get you reintroduced to the world.
Desensitized to the crazy violence and mayhem.
Okay, well, this next one isn't really a trailer as much as it is sort of an extended look at a video game, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, coming out April 5th, 2022. The galaxy is yours with Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Play through all 9 Star Wars Saga films in a brand new Lego video game unlike any other. Experience fun-filled adventures, whimsical humor, and the freedom of fully immersing yourself in the Lego Star Wars universe. Now, what's interesting about it, and they obviously put this in this extended gameplay experience trailer, if you will, is that you can choose your own adventure. You don't necessarily need to go in the order of the events. So I think that's very, very cool, as well as a lot of cool like upgrading and combo moves and a lot of variety of different things. So
I mean, I'll just say this is again like the last trailer we talked about there, whereas if you just told me about it, I wouldn't be all that interested. I played 1 or 2 Lego games back in the day and just thought it's all the same thing. You run around, you smash some bricks, you make something, you move on. And so when I first saw this, I thought, oh boy, this does nothing for me. But the fact that it looks like, I mean, I'm not sure if maybe in later games or I was just missing something, but it just feels like they've added so much to this in terms of mini games, and every level looks like you're going to be doing something a little different. If it's, fighting with guns or staffs, or right to flying the Millennium Falcon, to it looks like you're orchestrating the entire Battle of Naboo in an overhead sort of simulation war style game. I mean, it just looks like they're sort of incorporating every different element of video games into it, and that seems like it would definitely prevent it from being repetitive and boring.
Yeah, it's, this game has been worked on since 2017. And, not to put a downer on it, but TT Games and Traveler's Tales, like, this game was originally supposed to come out October 20th, 2020. And I've had it pre-ordered ever since. But unfortunately, there's been recently some talks and some reveals that the team was really suffering from crunch, really bad management at TT Games and Traveler's Tales. So as excited as I am for this game, I'm totally fine with them taking as much time as they need for them to work comfortably and work, in a safe and fair environment. But this is looking like one of my most anticipated games of this year, and Horizon Forbidden West comes out this year. So in like a few weeks even. So I'm blown away by this look. The animation has gotten an upgrade. The textures, the lighting in this game look phenomenal. It looks like real Lego. And I love that we've got like a closer angle to our minifigs. Whereas before, with the Lego games, it sort of took like almost like a pseudo top-down approach. This time we're getting an actual third-person game. And I love that they don't have to worry about voice actors. They're just going to use voice clips from the movies. There's over 300 characters to unlock, all of them falling within 9 different upgradable classes with all different abilities. It's just the amount of effort put into this game and work put into this game it's staggering. Like, it's going to be one of those things where it'll take forever to experience all of it, and I'm so looking forward to it. There's a bunch of different modes, like retro mode, television mode. At the end, you saw mumble mode shown off, where they're just and that's a callback to the original Star Wars Lego games, where that's all they did was mumble. And so I love the dedication not only to Lego fans, but to Lego video game fans and also to Star Wars fans. It's absolutely phenomenal. April 5th. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see this game in action. I'm not sure what consoles it's going to be landing on. Is it going to be landing on?
Yeah, we're going to see it on everything. It's going to be on Xbox, PlayStation 4, 5, and Nintendo Switch, as well as PC. And the special edition, which I've got on pre-order, of course, comes with a Luke Skywalker with blue milk. And I'm so amped for that minifigure, just to have a little representation of blue milk in the Lego universe. Perfect. I'm so stoked.
Dope. Okay, well, our last trailer is actually a teaser. It is for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which comes out sometime this year, 2022, on Netflix. Set during Benito Mussolini's fascist reign over Italy in the 1930s, Del Toro's Pinocchio once again tells the tale of a wooden puppet who suddenly comes to life, much to his woodcarver father's surprise. Unlike some of the other Pinocchio tellings, though, that we might be familiar with, the film's Pinocchio quickly gets into the sort of cruel mischief that puts him at odds with Geppetto, played by David Bradley, and Pinocchio, played by Gregory Mann. Geppetto, of course, loves his son, but can't help but see that he isn't exactly what one would call a nice child. Pinocchio is co-directed by Mark Gustafson and written by Del Toro and Patrick McHale. The film also stars Ewan McGregor, who is featured in the teaser as none other than Sebastian J. Cricket. The movie also stars Tilda Swinton, Christoph Waltz, Finn Wolfhard, Kate Blanchett, John Turturro, Ron Perlman, Tim Blake Nielsen, and Bern Gorman. So yeah, this looks fantastic. I love this sort of... Do you guys ever see James and the Giant Peach?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It just feels very stop motion-esque with, the right amount of 3D. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But this year, we're going to get 2 Pinocchio stories by the sounds of it.
Right. Watching the teaser, I was like, wait, is this the one with Tom Hanks or is it not the one with Tom Hanks? This is not the one with Tom Hanks by Disney. No. And that in a way also makes me really excited. I think we've seen examples of this in the past where, we got the Day of the Dead in the same year that we got Coco. You know what I mean? And both of those movies, absolutely excellent. So I love getting to see these studios sort of go and show these different stories, but even at the same time, I'm excited probably for from a voice acting standpoint. David Bradley as Geppetto is so cool. Filch himself in there. Ewan McGregor, our boy, hello there as the cricket. And then, dude, Ron Perlman as Mangiafuco, who I looked up pictures of Mangiafuco from the original, like the Adventures of Pinocchio, and that guy looks freaky. And so I think the coolest thing with anything Guillermo touches is going to be this art design, this character design, to see this world and as you put it, in a very sort of similar motion to James and the Giant Peach. That
it even feels like Laika Studios,
yes,
inspired, right? Like
sure,
very much that style. It looks really cool, and I think you hit it on the head there. It's different from what we know and what we're going to be getting from Disney, so it's okay. So it's going to be interesting to see.
I think, Nate, you said Day of the Dead, and I think you meant the Book of Life. Is that?
Oh, that is what I meant. Sorry.
And so you saying that got me even less excited for this than I was after watching the trailer. Because I just thought that was a poor excuse or a poor comparison to Coco that came out around the same time. And I don't know. I've been waiting for years for a live action version of Pinocchio to be done right. And I'll take a Tom Hanks version of that over. Even the animation style here didn't do it for me. So yeah, this was a big pass for me.
I just think you say that, Kevin, but Disney's track record with their live action stuff, I have a feeling that even though this is probably going to be more small cult fan, following sort of idea with this movie over what Disney's got, I don't know. I have a feeling that Disney's going to disappoint, and this is going to come in as like decent.
Well, no, Disney. I don't know if Disney will disappoint, but Disney's going to lean on their own heritage to retell their story.
Sure.
Whereas I think what the advantage that this one has is obviously it being animated, going back to the more honest story of Pinocchio that isn't necessarily in the Disney eyes. So
right.
I think they're going to be able to stand their own ground and 100% bring something different to the story. So I'm excited to see that. 2022, we don't have an official date, but Netflix, we're excited. Well, just like that, 5 trailers, done.
There we go.
On to bigger things. Let's get into the news.
It's all about the details.
Well, before we get into our news stories, I thought we should just take a second here and just acknowledge another week of tragic losses from across the board here. Actually, starting with award-winning French actor Gaspard Ulliel, who will soon actually be starring in Moon Knight as Midnight Man. He passed away on January 18th, suffering a head injury in a skiing accident in France, and he was only 37. He was playing young Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal Rising as well. He played fashion icon Yves Saint Laurent in the movie Saint Laurent, and he was also a model for the Chanel cologne. He's won 2 Caesar Awards. This is gone too soon. He is survived by a young son whose mother is French and is a model and singer. So, very unfortunate, very sudden. And I'm excited to at least see, I guess, his last performance in Moon Knight as the Midnight Man. Do you guys know him from any other projects?
I wasn't really familiar with him. Obviously, we were all going to be formally introduced with Moon Knight coming up. Mm-hmm. I remember hearing the news of his tragic passing and remembering from our early teens when Sonny Bono passed away in similar fashion, and it's just so scary, and just goes to show, to appreciate every second, because even doing something you love and going out and having fun, everything can just take a turn for the worst out of nowhere. So definitely tragic, especially given how young he is, and like you said, he was just starting to make a name for himself and moving in all the right directions with his career.
Yeah, I mean, he's been acting since he was acting since he was a kid, 1997, up until now, and he's been really big in the French film industry, and I think one of the things that I've noticed over the past few years, and especially with a lot of stuff coming out of Korean cinema, is that there's a whole other world of movies and TV shows that we can get lost in, that we can enjoy. So maybe checking out some of his work as a way to sort of, if you want to see where this man, what he did in his career, might be a really good idea. And so exploring some French cinema might be on the docket. But yeah, man, he that's super tragic. Thoughts and prayers to his family, obviously.
Another loss, Louis Anderson, famous for his stand-up comedy, Emmy-winning roles, died January 21st. Complications related to cancer. He was 68. I don't know if you guys remember the Louis Anderson cartoon show.
Yeah, of course.
Life with Louie was my jam. That was the
and he
only
did all the
cartoon
voices
I ever watched with my dad.
Yeah.
Because my dad used to have this old cassette tape and it was the best of comedy, and it had Billy Crystal and George Carlin and a whole bunch of people, and we'd listen to it, and Louis Anderson was my favorite from that tape. And so when this Life with Louie cartoon came out, my dad would watch that with me on like Saturday mornings because he was such a big Louis Anderson fan. So that's definitely where I remember him from most, as I only checked out a couple episodes of Baskets, but he also has his memorable debut in Coming to America. He was terrific in that movie as well.
And then Bat Out of Hell singer and Fight Club actor Meatloaf died, age 74 on January 20th. Causes were not disclosed.
I mean, I gotta say, it's rare for a big boy, to make it to 74. And I mean, Meatloaf was always just a big old. He was representing the big old boys his whole career, and always appreciate him for that. And obviously, his memorable turn in Fight Club is what a lot of people will remember him for. But he was certainly groundbreaking and iconic in the world of music. And the other day, my brother and I were driving out to a job site, and so for the ride out and back, we jammed to some Meatloaf, and it was nice to share those memories as well.
Oh man, that's so nice. Well, it's good that you found a way to remember and be reminded of what made Meatloaf special, and hopefully everyone will find an opportunity to remember these talented people who we've lost too soon. Okay, with that sad news out of the way, let's get to the news. It's our first news story from Alex Hudson, no relation to Kevin Hudson, from Exclaim. Ontario announces plans to reopen concert venues, movie theaters, and such. Ontario has announced a plan to gradually ease its current lockdown restrictions, including laying out a schedule for reopening concert venues, nightclubs, and of course, movie theaters. This is actually going to be a 3-step process starting January 31st, with half capacity being allowed in movie theaters. Then 3 weeks from that date, February 21st, they will expand the capacity furthermore. And then by March 14th, they're hoping for no restrictions at all. Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Karen Moore, said, thanks to the efforts of Ontarians going out and getting their booster dose and adhering to current public health and workplace safety measures, we are in a position where we can begin planning to gradually and cautiously ease restrictions. The months ahead will require continued vigilance, as we don't want to cause any further disruption to people's everyday lives. We must continue to prevent the transmission of COVID in our communities by following measures in place and by vaccinating those who are not yet vaccinated. This is, it was crazy how, 2 weeks ago we were talking about theaters closing and not knowing when they were going to open, and here we are now. and there seems to be a resurgence, if you will. But will it get us to a point where we won't have it happen again?
Will it get us to the point where we're able to watch the Batman in theaters? That's what I care about right now. Selfishly, I think obviously.
Well, you're in Halifax though. You guys, your theaters didn't close, right? You just had reduced capacity.
No, for sure. But I count all of us as one unit, Justin. We move as a unit, as a family. Okay. If you don't get to see it, I don't get to see it. Even though I'll go see it.
There is no chance you wouldn't go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the guy who went to Galaxy's Edge by himself because he had to be the first one.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, but we're not, so don't pretend.
We know you, bro. Be like, oh, you can't see it? Yeah, I'm gonna go see it twice before you guys can see it.
But speaking of being selfish, if you are vaccinated, this time of 50% in the theater is some of the best experiences that I've had in a theater from a standpoint of yes, there is that thing in the back of your mind that says, oh yeah, there's a pandemic going on, but also you get more space, you get the ability to spread out. Obviously for theaters and for theater workers, it's good that they're still running. I'm obviously for the amount of revenue that they need to continue their company, it's going to be good to get them back to butts and seats in all of the seats. But I think, for this brief moment of time, cup half full, go see a movie, go support your movie theater and enjoy the extra, popcorn room and arm room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Already planning to go see Scream once we open back up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine, and so one I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I mean, as long as things are safe and reasonably managed, and I hope we can go back to having popcorn and drinks in the theater itself. That's a very essential part of the theater going experience for myself. So, as long as things are safe and everything, let's get back in there. I'm excited, and I have a big concert this summer, so it better be cleared up by then. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like at this point this is just the cycle that we roll in. And, we talked about the 5,000 jobs that were lost. I don't know if it's necessarily smart if they start hiring those people right away, just because we don't know how the situation's going to pan out and the way things are going up and down. But yes, the idea that theaters are opening and people can start getting back to work and we can get back to enjoying movies. But I think the bigger thing is that people can get back to work and do, living their lives more than anything else. Because, movies will be delayed. Like our next story here from The Hollywood Reporter from Aaron Couch. Mission Impossible 7 is delayed once again. The Tom Cruise-led franchise will now open July 14th, 2023, with Paramount and Skydance pushing it off its September 30th, 2022 date. And they've also subsequently moved Mission Impossible 8, which will open now June 28th, 2024, which was previously set July 7th, 2023. So this is the latest in several moves for Mission Impossible 7 over the past 20 months as concerns about COVID-19 continue to shape the theatrical landscape, as we were just discussing. In April 2020, still the early months of the pandemic, Paramount pushed the project from July 2020 to December 2020. That date did not hold, as Mission Impossible 7 moved again to November 19th of 2021, and then May 27th, 2022, and then September 30th, 2022. While many studios like Warner and Disney are placing their bet for their high-profile films on day-to-day streaming, Paramount has kept many of its titles, such as A Quiet Place 2, as theatrical exclusives. So both the Cruise-starring Mission series and the upcoming Top Gun Mavericks, which is still set for its release May 27th, 2022. And this really does extend from Cruise being such an advocate for the theatrical experience, and obviously because of the hefty budget. In August, Cruise and director Christopher McQuarrie showed off Mission Impossible 7 footage to theater owners at CinemaCon, which included the latest death-defying Cruise stunt on the film. And McQuarrie was quoted saying, "The only thing that scares me more is what we have planned for Mission Impossible 8." So they're not going to be holding back.
The man is 60 years old. Let's let him take it easy a little here.
Yeah.
Get a stunt double, Tom. Come on. Well, the worst part about this is that it's going to give these studios the idea that they can hire 49-year-old Idris Elba to be Bond. And I just don't want to see that. I mean, Tom Cruise is one of a kind, and he is still somehow pulling this all off. But it's just insane to think when we see Mission Impossible 8 now, it will, he'll be 63 years old. That is just insane to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the article does such a great job of talking about how, Tom Cruise really just values the theatrical experience, which is why these movies have been continuously pushed so it can preserve the theater experience. So I think that's really great.
When you see just how incredible that skydiving scene from 6 was, I mean, all action movies sort of, require or benefit from being seen on the big screen, but what Tom and these people who are making these Mission Impossible movies really do is take it to that level that just it really is just the building scene at the Burj Khalifa from number 4, I think it was, where he's climbing the side of the building. I mean, they just take these action scenes and these sequences to whole new levels that really must be seen on the big screen. So I can totally see why they're so hell-bent on making sure that's the only way people are really going to get to experience these things for the first time.
And say what you will about Tom Cruise, but I do think it's so admirable. His commitment to filmmaking, I think, is really, really impressive. The fact that he does these stunts himself at his age, and also just the idea of sort of, understanding that these movies are, it's a whole ship. It's not just one captain. Yeah. It's an entire ship of people. Well, yeah. And so seeing some of the stuff that came out around him in reference to COVID and keeping people safe and telling them to be smart on set.
Well, yeah, he shoots someone idiots. Out for not wearing their mask and standing too close to each other. Yeah. Because he knows that they're doing the best that they can to keep people working. I think there was another article from earlier this past week where it was Simon Pegg talking about how, Mission Impossible 7 built the manual for how to film during COVID times. Wow. Because of all of the restrictions and stuff like that. So,
but I mean, is Tom going to slow down and focus on winning that elusive Oscar? The man needs it for that career resume before he he hangs them up. And he's got the 3 noms, but no big win. And no matter how fun and he's never won. And so no matter how fun and exciting these Mission Impossible movies are, or filming in spaces as he wants to do in a few years, you got to go get that Oscar. Take after Brad Pitt and go get that Oscar, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, talking about movies being delayed, more about productions being delayed, as Black Panther 2 production pauses just as it restarts due to a COVID outbreak. Black Panther Wakanda Forever continues to face setbacks just as filming for the sequel was set to resume. A COVID outbreak on the set has caused yet another production pause for the Black Panther sequel, which just resumed, as we were talking about last week, with Letitia Wright, coming back after a stunt accident. Regardless of the outbreak, though, Black Panther 2 is still set to release in 2022 alongside the other Marvel slated projects. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? I think that it depends on how long this break goes, but
this movie can't catch a break by any means, and it's so unfortunate because I think that audiences and just people in general are just really waiting to see how they address the loss of Chadwick, and just to see how they can honor him with this movie. And I know they're still going to end up doing that. The aspect of a COVID outbreak, like we're literally just talking about the tale of two actors here, with Tom Cruise shooing someone out for not wearing a mask, and then we've got some like Letitia Wright coming on and just sort of being the way that she is and being very outspoken. Granted, injuring yourself on set and delays for that, totally understandable. Absolutely 100%. Tom's even run into that sort of thing before. But the aspect of just kind of almost in a way, it's like, well, what did you expect? You know what I mean? Like, what did you expect when you're working with folks who aren't necessarily getting vaxxed or aren't
and there's not going to
necessarily
be a
following
mandate,
these rules? Right.
Right. Like there's not going to be a mandate.
They can't at this point.
Yeah.
They need to get this movie done and made, and they're not going to be able to really say to these actors any other, with any other. They're not going to really be able to make them follow the rules at this point because they just need to get the movie done, and they've already made so much of it.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that we could potentially see it get pushed, but I think
I would if
damnedest.
I'm not really a betting man, but if I was, I would say we're going to see this in 2023. I just think that's where it's headed.
It's too close to the edge.
That being said, I guess we'll wait and see. Who knows? Maybe next week we'll hear the news that it's just pushed to 2023. Well, the next story is about another superhero movie and about its ridiculously long runtime. This article is brought to you by Matthew Vale from Collider. The Batman runtime is revealed at clocking in at nearly 3 hours. The runtime for Matt Reeves' upcoming superhero detective thriller, The Batman, has been revealed by insiders from Warner as being a hefty 2 hours and 55 minutes, making it the longest standalone Batman film to date. Avengers is currently the longest superhero movie at 3 hours and 1 minute, right? So that is the longest. But in terms of like Batman's movies, The Dark Knight Rises would be the longest. I think that's 2 hours and 44 minutes. But this movie will certainly take it. But, again, if you're going to think of all of the superhero movies, Zack Snyder's The Justice League is 4 hours and 2 minutes, so it really does beat it. So while it's not as big as that, it's definitely hefty, and especially in comparison to other detective thrillers. Like if you think of things like David Fincher's Seven or even his Zodiac, like 2 hours and 7 minutes and 2 hours and 37 minutes respectively. So there's also been an announcement as well last week that it will be rated PG-13. So what do you guys think? Are you worried?
That's by far the worst news out of there. I mean, I don't care how long a movie is, as long as it's good for the whole time, as long as it's justified being that long. And I mean, when you say that it's only going to be about 10 minutes longer than, say, The Dark Knight, then what's another 10 minutes if it allows them to tell more of a story? They've got several villains to go through. We're introducing a new iteration of Batman. You want to take them to take their time and do that right as well. I think the PG-13, given what the trailers have made this movie look to be in terms of being really dark and really brooding, I think that PG-13 holds them back from getting as dark and gritty as I really wanted from this movie.
Sure. Yeah. I think they can push the limits with PG-13. I think we know that. Maybe it won't be super gory, but I think they can definitely push the violence, and that doesn't necessarily worry me. And nor does really the runtime. Like, Matt Reeves is known for being able to tell really cohesive stories. So it'll be interesting to see what has warranted this. And the fact that I was reading today as well that there was a 4-hour cut that was screened that Warner Brothers then reduced. And, if they're reducing it to 3 hours, studios don't really like movies that are hitting close to 3 hours unless it really does deserve it, right? And I think, Warner Brothers is seeing this. They're okay with that, right?
I mean, I think Warner Bros. Learned from, obviously the Justice League, the Snyder Cut, and from the standpoint of really just giving fans what they want. And I'm excited to sort of see how they balance the movie a little bit more with this news, and the fact that, yeah, we've got the Riddler, we've got Catwoman, we've got Penguin, and we've got Batman. And I know the movie's called The Batman, but to Kevin's point, to establish this new world, to give us these characters that actually feel like they have growth outside of our title character, I think that's really what this runtime gives us. And I mean, Dark Knight was rated PG-13, and that movie slaps. So I think it's going to be fine. I'm really looking forward to it still. Would I like a Batman that could swear and shoot someone and blood be spattered, like almost like a Wolverine sort of level of violence? Sure. But maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there with this series.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. March 4th. That's when the movie will hopefully be in theaters and we can actually check it out. Okay, let's move into our next article from Slash Film from Ryan Scott. Mary Elizabeth Winstead enters the Star Wars universe and joins the Ahsoka cast. The cast of the new Star Wars series on Disney Plus has a big name added to its roster. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's known from 10 Cloverfield Lane, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Kate, most recently, which we reviewed. This comes just as production of the show is expected to begin in the spring, meaning we could hear more regarding to casts happening soon. But I think the $1 million question here with this casting is, who the heck is she going to be? And who might we want to see her be? In the article, Ryan Scott suggested that she could be Hera from Rebels.
That's perfect.
I don't know, though. I feel like I'd rather see her be maybe on the dark side, if you will. Maybe be a part of Thrawn's group. Because we know Thrawn is probably going to be featured in this Ahsoka series. It is going to be the baddie. I'd love to see her in maybe more of that badass role, because I think she, again, coming off of Kate, she's established herself, and Birds of Prey, she's established herself as being someone who can lean into the action, and I feel like that could be an opportunity for her character. It would be a waste to bring her in and have her be Hera, the wisdom, the wise one that sort of has a bit of a badass to her, but is more of a mom, right? Like she's kind of like the one that looks out for everyone.
Right, we could see her as like a Jedi huntress of some kind.
Sure.
I think that would absolutely fit, even if they wanted to go with an original character for her. Initially, I was thinking Sabine Wren, but that was already, I believe, Natasha Leo Bordizzo is going to be Sabine Wren in the series. So, yeah, man, I'm just excited, as you said, with her coming off Kate and her capabilities, but even just her acting capabilities. I'm really stoked to see really where they take her, but
I'm excited. Yeah,
it'll definitely be interesting. I hope they don't hide her behind a helmet, because I think she does have the acting chops that I think really lend to getting to see her face. But regardless, man, what a great ad for Star Wars, and the growing cast of actors joining Star Wars is just getting better and better. Well,
yeah, like we also know too that Anakin is going to be showing up. So Hayden Christensen's coming back for this series as well. So
yeah, man,
there's a lot that's in here. And I agree, like coming off of Kate and seeing, she was the highlight. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was the highlight for me, at least from that movie, from an action and acting standpoint. So, weak story, but great performance. So I'm excited to see her getting her time to shine here in a galaxy far, far away. All right, well, our next news story is a little bit of casting news, talking about Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al Yankovic in a biopic. Like, this is crazy. Daniel Radcliffe, the star of the Harry Potter franchise, as we all know, is set to play Weird Al Yankovic in his biopic about his life for Roku. I guess Roku has their own streaming platform. In a cheeky statement, the comedy recording artist said he was absolutely thrilled about Radcliffe's casting, adding, "I have no doubt whatsoever that this is the role future generations will remember him for."
He's so cheeky.
Production is set to begin in February in Los Angeles, and it'll be exclusively available on the Roku channel. This is interesting. I don't know, guys. How do you feel about? Do you want to see the life of Weird Al Yankovic?
I definitely do. I just think, and I said this offline, but like, the Roku channel? Like, why are we not seeing this on something like Netflix or Star or Hulu, right? Like, it just...
Yeah, but think about every time somebody has said that about a streaming service before. Every streaming service needs to make content in order to gain a reputation of making good content. Where was Paramount before Yellowstone? Where was, where was Amazon before The Boys? Apple was nothing before The Morning Show. They all need to start somewhere. So, and I mean, we're not talking about the greatest musician of all. This isn't the Paul McCartney life story. It's Weird Al. I'm fine with Roku doing it.
The Paul McCartney of parody music, right? Like I can't. If I think of parody music even of today, there's maybe some TikTok artists that I can think of, but nothing that's gotten to the level of fame.
Nobody comes close.
Nobody comes close. And I do think Daniel Radcliffe, such a cool role to see him in. I love that Daniel Radcliffe isn't being typecast into fantasy roles because of his time as Harry Potter, and I think I think this is actually set to be really, really interesting and really good. And I'm actually really looking forward to this movie.
I'm certainly stoked for this. I mean, I'm a huge Weird Al fan. Alapalooza back in 1993 was one of my first CDs I ever bought, and then Bad Hair Day in '96. I mean, I'm a big Weird Al guy, so I'm very excited for this movie.
And again, obviously, we're gonna get the laughs, and I sound like a broken record here, but I do think, they have an opportunity to show some of the maybe darker moments of Weird Al's life, some of the relationships he's had. And, Daniel Radcliffe in Imperium is probably the best performance I've seen from the guy outside of Harry Potter. And yeah, he can do the dramatic stuff. So if he really lets himself fall into this role, if he really takes on that persona of a young Weird Al, this is going to be pretty stellar. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Have we ever heard him without a British accent?
Yeah, in Imperium, he's got like an American accent.
Oh, okay.
He does fine. He nails it.
I'm gonna have to look at that and see.
You got to check that movie out, dude. It's so good.
I'm rarely concerned about a British actor, especially a talented one, doing an American accent. It's Americans butchering a British accent. And I mean, the only exception to the other way around is Charlie Hunnam in Sons of Anarchy. The guy can't hide his accent to save his life. But I digress.
Awesome. Well, next story from Kimberly Potts from Rotten Tomatoes. The Monsterverse is heading to Apple TV+. Did you guys hear about this? Apple TV has given a series order to an untitled live-action Godzilla series after kicking the keister of his fellow Monsterverse beast King Kong on the big screen in last year's Godzilla vs. Kong, Kev's favorite film. Godzilla will now tangle with Titans on the small screen. The series is co-created with Chris Black, who will serve as a showrunner, and Matt Fraction from Hawkeye, who wrote the Hawkeye series, is taking part. Will tell the stories of Godzilla and the Titans.
Oh, wow.
While also unfolding the journey of a family that's trying to uncover its own buried secrets and its links to the secret monarch organization, and a world that has been forced to realize monsters are a real thing. The series is going to be connected to the existing Legendaries Monsterverse, the big screen versions, which all began in 2014 with Godzilla and has carried through to 2017's Kong Skull Island, 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong. So what do you guys think? You think it's probably good that Apple TV takes their budget for the Foundation and actually puts it to something that maybe people would want to watch? Because I don't think that series did overly well for them based on what I've heard.
The Foundation was fine. I think it's going to really, I hope if they get a second season for it, that will pick up steam and get people more into it. But no, I'm excited about the fact that this is Apple TV Plus. I think, Justin, you and I were talking offline in regards to the idea that, this could really go back to the roots of the first Godzilla movie that we got, and get that vibe of getting to see a family experience go through these things and the dynamics that go into that. And maybe not the monsters always being the big monsters, but maybe the monsters being, the humans as you would. But I think it'll be interesting to see if, we do get maybe a hint or a quick shot of these monsters. And it's not just all focused on them, because I do think that balance is what really can help a series like this if you're going to be watching it for more than the length of a movie. Right?
I think, again, in the description that is here, the journey of a family that's trying to uncover its own buried secrets and realizing, they live in a world with monsters. Like, I think that's very kind of conducive to what you're talking about, where it's going to have a balance of like personal drama with tension and action of monster-esque proportions. So hopefully they can stick to landing with that and it doesn't become too heavy-handed. But I think you were also saying, like, what if they don't show you a monster until the very end? Like,
sure.
Of the season finale.
That's
it's all
fine.
just hints. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, I just think it's like, how much can you really tell a story with Godzilla right at the center of the screen? I just don't know how much you can get away with it. And you know, there's really long scenes with King Kong in Godzilla versus Kong, and long scenes with Godzilla where it's just them, and they're just dragged out, and it just feels like you can only go so far with a non-speaking character. So I think that they're really going to need to rely on the human aspect of this story, and I think that's kind of where they're going to place it.
Our next article is from Slash Film from Valerie Ettenhofer. Ana de Armas fans are suing Universal for false advertising after discovering her yesterday's scene was cut. So two apparently diehard fans of Ana de Armas took to court this week, filing a federal class action lawsuit against Universal in regards to the actress cut performance from the 2019 film yesterday. I didn't even know she was supposed to be in it.
Neither did
this
I.
Comes from this part comes from Variety in court documents obtained by the outlet. Maryland resident Connor Wolf and California resident Peter Michael Rosa accused the studio of deceptive marketing. The suit alleges that both men viewed a trailer for Danny Boyle's film, which tells the story of an alternate world where no one has heard the Beatles. Then, you know, they paid $3.99 and rented this damn movie, and the trailer of the film featured DeMars, but the actress did not actually appear in the movie. The plaintiffs are arguing via class action lawsuit that the studio engaged in false, misleading, deceptive advertising by presenting De Armas in the trailer, despite the fact that she doesn't appear in the movie at all. Their lawsuit also notes streaming services like Amazon Prime are designed with trailers on the same screen as the purchase option, so that a consumer can make that instant decision to purchase or rent a movie without consulting other sources. So basically, because they saw her in the trailer that was on Amazon, they were just like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. They're seeking $5 million on behalf of this. I would have just asked for my money back. $5 million.
Yeah, and that's probably what they'll get. Here's your $9 back. Go away.
This is just two idiots just trying to take advantage of an opportunity because they think that they're able to get away with this. They're going to spend money in lawyer fees and have to put all this money into this, and they're not going to get away with this. And it's like, cool, so then what do? Do they try to tackle Disney and Marvel and the Avengers by saying those scenes weren't in Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War, so give me $8 million? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The only thing that this story brings up is that concept of the aspect of, like, you know, do movie studios need to stop putting stuff in their trailers that isn't in movies? Sure, I get that can be misleading, but I don't know, man. Like, we're in a day and age where we're talking about all these film delays, and these movies are going to be made up until sometimes the last week of before it comes out. So of course there's going to be changes like this. It's ridiculous to expect that you're going to get this much money out of the studio. It's silly.
Sure. I think the only thing is that the question comes in on at what point is, like, it too much, right? Because you didn't see people suing Marvel and Disney over Infinity War, saying, like, hey, that scene at the end when they're all running, I bought a ticket to see that scene. Exactly. Right? Like, it's, you know, that just doesn't happen. So it's interesting. You know, all power to these guys, but I don't know if they'll get anything for it.
If anything, they're going to lose money. So good on you.
Yeah, good on you. We'll have to see how that all pans out. But guys, we got through all those news stories. Well, that's it for This Week in Geek. Thanks for tuning in wherever you listen to podcasts. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and leave us a glowing review. We always appreciate the love. And also, you can also reach out to us, say hi, ask us a question about any of the news or trailers we've covered today, or anything we cover in general. And you can do so by reaching out to us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, or on Twitter at GeekcentricYT, or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric. Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other episodes covering a variety of other content, and new content always coming out, such as our ongoing watch club for the Book of Boba Fett, with Chapter 5 coming later this week. But we did post our spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review for Netflix Ozark Season 4, Part 1. That's a mouthful. And on Monday, we posted our Fake or Real Star Wars edition as we bring back one of our favorite games hosted by the boastfully boastful showman Nate. And yes, he had a litter holding him the entire duration of the game.
They were super
to keep
tired
himself
by
in
the end of it.
character.
Yeah.
To keep himself in character. Of course, it was just for us. It was not for the audience, but
No.
we appreciate it.
Nobody will even know other than what you just said. Like, it's, I'm glad their work is going appreciated now. So.
It was a fun episode, so go check that out. We got more on the way. But until next time, guys, Kev, Nate, thanks for joining me for This Week in Geek. And as we say,
Love ya.
Stay home safe, guys.
peace.